machine to this lever and push up to heighten the piece above it. This will bring up the presser foot. Now we can rotate the metal piece to reveal our bobbin. Use some sort of tool to take out both the bobbin and the bobbin holder. My bobbin is already winded, but if it wasn't, you would just bring over the bobbin winder, bring your thread down from the top and loop a few threads around it, then crank while the winder spins, which will load your bobbin for you. Now with the loaded bobbin, it's very important to note that the thread should always be coming out from the back and pulling from the left in order to work. There's 2 holes inside the bottom of the holder, so we're going to take the bobbin with the thread coming out in the proper direction and put the thread through the inside top hole. Next, when we turn the holder to the side, we see this tension disc on the side. It can be tightened or loosened, so we want it a bit loose so the thread can be pulled. We'll need to loop the thread around that, and then it can come out through the bottom or second hole. This hole is normally for thicker materials, so that's what we'll need. You can test if you've done this properly by pulling the thread and seeing if the disc rotates as you pull. If it's rotating smoothly, you're good to go. If not, you may need to loosen the tension disc, or you may have threaded in the wrong direction. Now that that's good to go, we'll need to rotate the crank until it's at the top or 12 o'clock position before we load the bobbin. This is important. The rotation will bring the metal piece inside to the right and will allow you to load the bobbin to the left, which just aligns all the gears. Now take the string hanging out and just place it on the indent on the side of the piece and close up the bobbin panel. This bobbin loading only needs to be done when the bobbin runs out, or if you want to do a thread color change. That's done. Now let's tweak some other things. There's a screw here at the top that holds your rod. We want to unscrew this so that the rod can be moved up or down or rotated. We want to rotate it so that the screw holding the needle is facing sideways toward the machine. We'll also want to move the rod down so it's barely peeking out at the top. These are strange changes that need to be done to avoid thread breaking or snapping. Just minor tweaks that help the machine run smoothly. Now we'll need to change the needle that it originally comes with to these Schmetz high quality needles. The needle it comes with will likely break in a couple uses, so these will last you a really long time. We can use the flathead screwdriver they included to unscrew the needle holder. This will release the holder and the needle. We can grab the new needle and just wiggle it back in with the holder. There's an indent on the machine that shows you where to put the needle, so you'll just need to tighten the holder again once that's in place. It's also important to note that the hole in the needle should be facing sideways toward the machine, just like how the screw should also be facing sideways. Now let's thread this baby. Again, with the thread coming out from the back, pulling to the left, we can start out by putting it through this top hole. Now it's going to loop around this hook and go in between and underneath the first tension disc. That's going to loop around and over the second hook. We're going to ignore the second tension disc since we'll be using thicker materials. So from there, it's going to go up and into this hole or thread guide. From there, we'll pull the thread up behind this metal piece and into this smaller hole here at the top. Now, using this wire rod that they included, we need to go up behind the needle and push the rod up and out until we see it poke out at the top. You can loop the thread around the hook and pull it down and out to get the thread through this big metal piece. From there, we can simply thread through the needle, and I like to put it through the presser foot and out behind. Since we added a new bobbin, we'll need to get that to come out, so we just need to do one full rotation on our hand crank, and that will push the bobbin thread out through the top. You'll need to grab this with your fingers or tweezers and just pull it out so it's coming out of the hole of this metal piece. Again, this only needs to be done when the bobbin is changed. So we have the bobbin coming out as well as the thread through the needle, so we're almost ready to sew. Just one more thing to note. This tension disc will determine how tight your stitches will be, so if you get loose stitches, you'll want to tighten the screw, and vice versa. If the stitches are too tight, you can loosen the screw. There's also this screw underneath here which determines the length or how big your stitches are. Turning to the right will make longer stitches, and turning to the left will make shorter stitches. So feel free to play around with these things to get your desired outcome. Alright, we did it. We can finally test this baby out and see how great our stitches come out. This leather scratches really easily, so the bottom of the presser foot is creating indents on the leather. However, we can tweak that. We can attach some felt or rubber or something under there to prevent that, or maybe get a new presser foot altogether. Other than that, the stitches are coming out really good, and we're not getting any breaking or snapping of thread. Another thing I forgot to mention is you can also sand all the rough areas of the machine to improve it even further so that everything is smooth and that the thread can travel through each part really easily. Let me know in the comments below if this video helped you out at all, or if you guys want a part 2 on how to actually sew things onto the shoe. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch